What is up, everyone? I am Trebus. This is SC2 Noob School, and you know what? We're going to be looking at another Stephano replay today. I just can't get enough Stephano lately, and you know what? He is in my home state of Texas right now at the Lone Star Clash. Lone Star Clash? Yeah. So in honor of Stephano being in Texas, we're going to be looking at another one of his replays. We've done ZVT, we've done ZVP. Now it is time for a ZVZ, which Stephano, of course, is amazing at. So just introducing the players real quick. On the left, as the Red Zerg, we have Millennium Stephano. You like that camera zoom? I totally practiced that. Alright, and on the right, as the Blue Zerg, we have Dana. I'm actually seriously proud of that camera zoom. I had to practice that for at least 20 seconds before this cast happened, just because I wanted it to be perfect. Anyway, we're going to be looking at Millennium Stephano's play in Zerg vs. Zerg. Going to be following him. I'm actually going to follow him with the camera a little bit. And we're going to see, basically we're going to be concentrating on looking at the scouting of this game, because scouting is really everything in Zerg vs. Zerg. Just the way the mechanics of making drones versus making units works for Zerg, you know, they tend to be the reactive race, where they can switch gears very quickly into making units, and if you don't know what your opponent is doing in Zerg vs. Zerg, if they have switched to making units or if they're still making drones, you're going to get caught with your pants down, and nobody likes to get caught with their pants down when there's a bunch of insects around. It's just terrible. Terrible thing to happen. So the opener that we see Stephano going for is he's going for the gas pool, and the timing of this is you get the gas down, and a little bit before the gas is actually finished, you put down your spawning pool, and then you have 100 gas to get Zergling speed, and then you pull off of gas and try to get yourself an expansion. And as you're trying to get that expansion, you have to scout. There's roach timings that can come in, there's there's just mass Zergling timings that can come in, and there's Zergling Baneling timings that can come in. So you have to scout and react accordingly to each one. And the other thing is, depending on when that push is coming on, will change how you're going to defend it. If it's a really early Baneling push, then you pretty much have to go defensive Banelings. If it's slightly later, you can go for spine crawlers and queens, which is what we're going to see in this game. So Dana's pushing in with his initial set of Zerglings. He pulled at about 10, I believe, and so Stephano's having to defend with some of his drones, but all in all, he's actually going to get out of this pretty much unscathed. One worker lost. Not bad. Anyway, so Stephano can make his own Zerglings, and now these Zerglings are going to become Stephano's scouting advantage. And as you can see, the Zergling speed is finishing up. Stephano knows where his opponent is. He's lining up the overlords and getting ready to do this scouting. I'm going to just leave this game on 1x speed, and we're going to watch it just as it happens. No jumping around, any of that kind of stuff, because there is so much important scouting that can happen here. So right now we see Stephano just making drones. He's getting down his hatchery and making drones, and when he comes in here, he sees queens blocking the ramp and no expansion. So at that point, he's going to know that there's some other, most likely there's going to be some other kind of attack come in. It could either be Banelings or it could be roaches. That's pretty much the choice here. It is possible that his opponent could go for some kind of fast lair with maybe a 1-base muta or something crazy like that. But that's not very likely, although I'm not really sure how you scout for that. So anyway, we see Dana blocking off with a spine crawler, a queen, and lings, and so Stephano is going to have a tough time getting in here. And we're going to see something in a second here that is very important, and I think needs to be emphasized. Okay, first of all, we're seeing him get extra queens, we're seeing him get a couple spine crawlers, still trying to poke in here when he can. He really needs to poke in and see what kind of building that Dana is making. No Zergling speed yet. Not seeing the Zergling speed would honestly make me think about making, he was making roaches, but that's actually not going to be the case. It's actually going to be speed Zerglings coming out here in a second. So Stephano moves back in, he is able to get past, and he scouts the baneling nest, and he scouts a bunch of eggs. This will probably be the one time, maybe 1 or 2 times, I pause in this game just to show you a really important decision. So back at home, what do we have for Stephano? We've got a bunch of money. We've got 340 minerals. We've got 8 larvae just sitting around, and we've got room for overlords. Well, oh, Stephano, your macro so bad. Why aren't you making stuff? Well, no, actually, he is inside of here, and so he's wanting to get as much information as possible before he actually makes a decision whether to make drones or to make zerglings. He sees a baneling nest. He probably clicked on the gas geyser and saw that there was a lot of gas mined, and he's basically going to just wait around to see what comes out of these eggs. If it's drones, then it's going to be a pretty weak baneling attack, if any baneling attack, and it could possibly be defensive banelings, although that would be kind of a strange play without having an expansion up. But when he sees this, he sees a bunch of zerglings coming out. Let's turn on the production tab and see exactly what happens about 1 second from now. There we go, 18 zerglings in the production queue. That is something that I really want to emphasize to people, is that if you can delay making a decision about what you're going to create out of your larva by just a few seconds, even 5 seconds or 10 seconds, if you can get really good scouting information before you make that decision, always do that. Because if Stephano hypothetically had made a round of drones before seeing that, then he would just die right now, basically. So Stephano's reaction to this is going to be brilliant. He brings his zerglings around. His zerglings are actually going in for a flank. He's going to completely abandon his expansion with nothing but spine crawlers and queens here. Dana has nothing to kill. He can't kill the hatchery because he'll lose all his lings to the spine crawlers. Coming in here with this counterattack, he's able to actually deny this expansion. Expansion gets canceled. He's going to be able to do even more with these zerglings, and the banelings back in his base are doing absolutely nothing. Focusing down a queen, the queen getting transfused quite a few times, and Stephano looking like he's in a pretty decent shape. He had basically a brilliant reaction to this baneling thing, blocking off the ramp with queens. The banelings can't get by. The banelings could try to kill the queens, but they wouldn't be able to do it. They focus down on one queen. Huge mistake by Dana, and now Stephano is in fantastic shape. Absolutely fantastic shape. All thanks to these spine crawlers and the queens blocking the ramp. I mean, if the Zergling baneling all in or semi all in is coming in, forget the drones at your natural. Keep them alive. Let the spine crawlers protect everything. Zergling baneling is not going to want to attack into a bunch of spine crawlers, and just defend. Defend. So Stephano is now able to push out. He's able to deny an overlord. He's going to start pushing some creep, and he's going to make his tech choice here in a minute. He is getting Lair, which I think is a great choice. After you defend an attack is always a good time to tech. Zerg, every race really. If you defend a nice attack, then you have room to tech and get economy. And you see who will not be producing any army for the moment. Still important to scout though. I expect we'll see some more Stephano Zerglings coming out and checking. Particularly, he wants to look for this expansion here. You can kind of assume this expansion is here since we haven't seen another big attack come in, but you really need to see it with your own eyes just to make sure. Stephano also laying down a third base, preparing. He's got all 4 of his gas geysers going right now, so he's going for a very high gas build, and we're going to see his tech choice in just a second here. Here we go. What's become a signature Stephano style is the double spire. Even on just 2 bases, he loves to get Mutalisk upgrades, and you know what? It seems to work. Of course, getting the geysers on his third base immediately. Highly recommend doing this if you're doing some kind of extremely high gas build like Stephano's doing, is go ahead and get the geysers before your base ever finishes, just so you can start mining them absolutely immediately. So we're gonna see Stephano moving in once again, sees some banelings, sees some roaches, and sees creep spread going up to the 3rd. So looking at the cam, it is true. Well, I guess that creep, never mind, I take that back. The creep wasn't actually going up there. It was just from this creep tumor. So I don't know if Stephano could assume that 3rd base was there. He can certainly assume the natural is there. And in a second here, oh, massing up the spine crawlers, because you can see he's not making anything to defend his home. He's concentrating on getting his mutalisks out, and then the spine crawlers are going to be like 100% of his defense at home. He's been spending all of his money getting this expansion, getting the drones up, and working on these double ups. Look at that, it's beautiful. And the advantage of going for Spire right here is because he knows that his opponent's tech is delayed. His opponent does have a lair, however, since he spent all that money getting the banelings, his lair is going to be late. He knows there's money spent on... He made his Spire choice before, but he could also see that there were some banelings made, there were some roaches made. He's been spending his gas instead of just saving it up the way Stephano is. So this lair is late, his infestation pit is late, and if you can get mutalisks into the base before the infestors are up, or even just when there's only a few infestors, maybe 2, if you spread your mutalisks out a little bit so that they don't get clumped up and fungal too badly, they can survive a couple fungals and they can still do a lot of damage. So Stephano is going to come in here with his mutalisks, and that is the game. You can see the I think it's at 30, a little over 30, you can build your infestors, and so the infestors were not even started yet. Dana would have just, you know, lost way too much to continue on in this game, and Stephano wins the game just like that. Spick and spam, no problem whatsoever. Anyway, that will be it for the Stephano emphasis for now. I'll move on to a Zerg or Terran player, I promise, just in honor of Stephano being in my home state. Had to give him a little bit of love. Leave me a comment. I want to do something different at the end of videos now. I'm trying new things out. Leave me a comment and ask me some question about either... Could just be about me, it could be about Starcraft, could be about esports or YouTube or just anything. Leave me a comment, ask me a question about something. I'll take one of those comments and I will answer it at the end of my next video. And then I'll just kind of have this rolling cycle of you leave me a comment, I'll answer a question on the next video, and hopefully include some kind of like entertaining story. I'll pick whichever comment I have the most entertaining, either story or I think has an interesting answer or something like that, just so we can get a little viewer interaction going, because I always enjoy that kind of thing. So leave me a comment in the comments and ask me some kind of question, or just tell me what you thought of this video or anything like that. And always, as always, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Alright, thank you for watching, guys, and GG!